What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, according to MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who promotes two-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn had announced this past week that Anthony Joshua and undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer fellow countryman Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, well, they indeed signed the contracts to have a two-fight deal this year, 2021. With that said, they're targeting the date in June to have the first fight. But there were two huge hurdles in the way. As Frank Warren, CEO and promoter of Queensberry Promotions, co-promoter of Tyson Fury, and legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, they were not happy that Eddie Hearn announced this fight because they said they're a long way away from having this fight take place. With that said, obviously Tyson Fury, he's still in mediation and arbitration with Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC heavyweight world champion, American superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. So there hasn't been a complete conclusion to that chapter before Tyson Fury is even allowed to move forward, okay? And that's one of the reasons why Bob Arum and Frank Warren, they didn't want this announced because that gives a leg up for Deontay Wilder. Also, there is no site. They don't have a venue. They don't have a location. And they're looking for somewhere, an investment group that would be able to put up massive lump sum of money to be able to stage this fight. Now, according to the reports, they had 28 days till they could get this done. So with that said, now Tyson Fury, who stated that he stopped training, Tyson Fury, who stated that he was not happy, Tyson Fury, who stated that he felt like he should have just took the trilogy match with Deontay Wilder. He's been inactive for quite some time, since February of his last fight with Deontay Wilder. He says by the time we go into this fight, it'll be June. Tyson Fury feels like and sounds like he's ready to walk away. All of a sudden, we got the announcement that they signed the contracts. And now, since they announced that they signed, well, should I say, since Eddie Hearn announced that they signed the contract, well, now Eddie Hearn, the huge hurdle was the site, okay? They didn't have a location. Now, miraculously, Eddie Hearn is stating that an Asian group came forward just yesterday and offered upwards over $200 million to stage the fight in Asia. And so he says it came from an odd place and they don't want anything in return. They're not looking for a return in their investment. They're simply looking at this as a trophy, something to involve themselves in. He says they have the money to fit front the bill. And he says that they're looking at it not as an investment, but as in a trophy. Okay, so he's stating that, now they have a location, and now it's up to essentially the two sides to agree to stage the fight in a place where he's stating that this mystery billionaire is going to allow this fight to take place, in their country, but they have to get both sides in agreement. Okay. So Eddie Hearn is saying that it came from an odd place, a very weird place, but miraculously overnight, we have a group that's willing to put up the money, right? So, quote, Eddie Hearn had to say this: I can't say who it was, but it was from a very wealthy individual, and he wants to do something very special. We've had 20 approaches for the fight, but you know which ones are serious. But this one was just well out there. And it's a realistic option. Money is not an issue with this guy. Commercially, it's a bit strange, but it's not about that. It's a trophy asset for them. This is the biggest event in the world. So now Eddie Hearn is saying that Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua is the biggest event in the world, and that essentially this investment group, or this particular billionaire, is not interested in getting return on investment. He just wants to be involved in the biggest fight and the biggest event, according to Eddie Hearn, in the world. Quote, And that's the mindset of this individual who wants to bring it to his own country. It's not about selling tickets. It's not about government investment. It would him be saying, I'd be paying for it. So now it's just essentially he wants to flat out pay for it. He's not looking to, again, like I stated, to get any return on his investment, just looking to fit the bill. Okay? He says Saudi have paid the site free before. He says there's a number for the fight. You hit the number, you get the fight. And the number was not an issue for this individual. Okay? So essentially, and Eddie Hearn said the number was $200 million. Okay? So now Eddie Hearn is saying he's willing to pay upwards of $200 million for this fight. He says Saudi have paid the site fee before. We've worked together before. It's not complicated. It's just about tying up the dates. But this offer is a bit different. All I will say is it's in Asia, not Macau, but not far away from Macau. Okay? He also stated, I see some of the comments saying sites might prefer the fight in November or December. Of course, but that is not what is on the table. That's not what we are pitching. If the question comes back, can we do it later in the year? The answer is no. That's the date. End quote. Now, he said that's the date, and he doesn't even have a date. Okay? Obviously, like I stated, they're targeting June or July now. Initially, it was May. Now the date is June, and then they're saying possibly in July. Okay? So they continue to move the date. They continue to, change everything that's being, talked about. It continues to move. Okay, there's no stableness dealing with this entire negotiation, and so it's very convenient that this particular mysterious billionaire investor from Asia, not far from Macau, not in Macau, but from Asia, is just come out of the blue miraculously during this trying time where we're dealing with a global pandemic. And now he's not even looking to get a return on his investment, just looking essentially to fit the bill for upwards of $200 million just to say they were involved and bring this event to their country, as Eddie Hearn says that it's the biggest event in the world. I'm having a hard time digesting that. For one, this is not the biggest event in the world. That's number one. Number two, Eddie Hearn says that if he comes back, now get this investor is going to offer upwards of $200 million for this event. And Eddie Hearn says if they're looking to push it back to November, the answer is no. Well, in the same breath, Eddie Hearn says the money up front was not an issue and he's not looking for a return on his investment. So then why would he ask to move the event back to November? The only reason he would ask to move the event back to a later date is simply to have fans in attendance to get a return on your investment. Otherwise, he could put up the $200 million and they have nobody in attendance. The entire situation and issue with pushing the date back is to allow fans to be in attendance, full capacity, because we're still dealing with a global pandemic and most arenas outside of Texas, most places are still only have a certain percentage amount of people allowed to attend any event, period, let alone sporting events. Texas is open 100%. New York is open right now, currently at 33%. They're not even open at 50% yet. So the concern is, will any of these investment groups have a concern on getting return on investment, not having fans in attendance to bring back the revenue, to put back the revenue? So Eddie Hearn is saying they're going to go end of May or end of June or July, with or without fans. And so they're going to tell the investment group that's going to fit the money, that's going to front the money for this massive event, as he said, the biggest event in the world, and they're going to dictate when they have it take place. So I'm finding hard pressed to believe that an investment group would decide to put up $200 million, not be guaranteed to have fans in attendance and get a return on the investment, right? So they're going to miraculously just put up money and lose money just to have bragging rights and say they held this event, that they staged this event. And that is a contradiction that he stated that money wasn't an issue. That number, the $200 million number, wasn't an issue for this particular mysterious billionaire from Asia that's willing to fit the bill and fund the money. The money's not an issue, but the date is an issue. Well, how could the date be an issue? If he's just willing to lose money, he's not worrying about a return on his investment, then it doesn't matter if he stages the fight in his country with 0 fans in attendance, because it's not about him bringing anything back. And Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum and Frank Warren and Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, they don't have to worry about it either, because he's already paid them up front. So why would he say he want the fight to take place in November at a later date instead of the date that they have set forth? Well, y'all know why. So 1 + 1 is not adding up to 2. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.